Wait for this day to get here, but the reason why we're going to talk about them is because maybe, just maybe, by me sharing some of these things will go a little bit better for you on your wedding day. It's going to be beautiful. Trust me, there are a lot of things that were super gorgeous about my wedding, and I don't take any of those things for granted. But there were some things that definitely could have gone much better. And to this day, I still think about them. A lot. I wish I could just let it go, but yeah. So, number one, my shoes were on the wrong feet. Yeah, I had my shoes on the wrong feet, and they were my first time wearing these cute little shoes. I found them on Amazon. Guys, you gotta practice walking in your shoes. And the thing is that I had 3 pair of shoes. These are the only ones that were on backwards. They were like little jelly flats to wear, like when your feet like start hurting, you know, at that part of the event where like, okay, you're exhausted, but you're having so much fun. So I had my jellies on, and yeah, they were on backwards. And I was very, very, very sad about this. Like, I couldn't tell. I couldn't even tell that they were on backwards, and my adrenaline was just going. But I knew something was like off, like later on when we got to the airport to leave for the honeymoon. So I was like, my feet just feel so weird. And I like looked down and my shoes are like on backwards. Not cute. My bridesmaids and my maid of honors did not catch this at all. Okay, another thing that happened was the closure on my dress broke, and nobody told me. It was a part of the very top of the gown, the wedding gown, and it broke. It completely broke. The clasp broke. It was very like tiny clasp, and nobody said anything. They're like, oh, you know, we thought if we told you, you're gonna freak out. What they don't understand is that like when you are a performer your whole life, like I have a Bachelor of Arts in dance. And so I've always have a needle and thread already threaded and ready to go with me, like the little knots on the end and everything. You literally just have to sew whatever it is you need to sew. So I was like, why didn't you guys just tell me? Because like we could have sewn it back together, and like the clasp was just there, but it didn't have anything to hang on to. So we could have like made like a makeshift little like loop for it to like grasp on. And I was just so mad. I could not believe that nobody said anything. And this is stuff that I found out like later when I saw like videos and pictures, like why is the top of my dress like open, like just a little tiny bit? And like I never caught it, because when am I gonna look in the mirror to like check that before walking out? I'm not. So like this was definitely the fault of my bridesmaids and maid of honors, because they're the ones that got me dressed, and I don't know if they broke it. I have no idea how it got broken, but it was broken. And I was very, very sad, because it only went from, you know, the box to, because it was a huge wedding gown box. Oh my gosh, my gown was so gorgeous. To the alterations lady who tailored it, altered it and everything. I know she didn't break the clasp. She would have fixed it. Hello, she's an alteration sewing person. It only went from her to the actual wedding, because I didn't try it on at home. I had no reason to try it on at home. I've already tried it on at the venue, so at the dress shop, you know. Anyways, I digress. I was just very, very sad about this, and I like, oh my gosh, to this day, I just can't believe. I cannot believe that my besties would let me walk down the aisle and they wouldn't have fixed my dress. Like, who does that? Who does that? Now, something else that happened. All the pins in my hair, I realized one of them came out. I can't believe it. And I'm not the only one, because I was watching this girl's YouTube that actually like lives local. We've moved and stuff now, but she lives local to where I live now. And we're like in a little beach town. It's all coastal. It's super cute. But she was saying that all the pins came out of her hair on her wedding day. So maybe the tip for that one is just to not wear our hair up. Like, I don't know. I don't know, but because I dance a lot, I moved a lot, the gown was heavy, there was a lot happening, right? So I'm just like, I don't know, maybe the tip for that one is just weigh your hair down and flowy if you have that kind of hair. I now have my hair in an afro, which I didn't have then. My own natural beauty, you know, my own natural glow here. But yeah, I would have loved to have just like worn like my hair out and like my blown out afro when it was like much bigger. It's not as big now, but yeah, that's what I would have rather have done. But a big one that happened was that one of my family members could not make it. Oh, this one makes me like super sad. I don't know if I could talk about this one, you guys, but one of my family members couldn't make it, and I cried like a baby. I cried so hard. They're near and dear to me, and I was so hurt. And the reasoning for it was not a good enough reason for me. And to this day, I try to not think about it. I definitely don't hold it against them. I'm very close to this person, so I don't hold it against them, but it does hurt when certain people can't be at your wedding and there's no way to really cope. You know, one of my bridesmaids was just like, you know, suck it up. You know, one of my maid of honors, I should say, because I had like 2 maid of honors, 2 bridesmaids, and one of the maid of honors was just like, suck it up. You know, this is normal. This is normal. And I just couldn't accept that. I didn't understand how anyone could be like empathetic or non-empathetic to what I was going through. And so it just really hurt really bad. Not only was that person, you know, that family member not able to be there, but I didn't really have anyone to truly console me but my husband to be. My husband to be, the groom, he was amazing, because I had like a complete crybaby breakdown at the rehearsal. That's when we found out that this family member was like for sure not going to be able to make it. And I was just so hurt. I was just so like, it was just hard. And I guess my advice for this one is just to understand that like you as the bride and groom are who are getting married. You are who are getting married. You can't stress over anyone who can't make it. For whatever those reasons are, there's going to be tons of reasons why someone can't make it. And the best that you can do is look at your groom, look at your bride, look into each other's eyes and know that this is why you're doing this. You love each other, you want to spend the rest of your life with each other, you want to do life with each other. So yes, it's hard when a family member can't come or, you know, a friend can't come or something like that who lives far away. But what's important is that you as a bride and you as the groom are there on that day. And truthfully, no one else, nothing else, like all the things, you know, that I talk about that, you know, that will stress us out, that will go wrong on that day. Yes, it's hard, but at the end of the day, what's important, the 2 of you being there, that you weren't left at the altar, which is something that happens to people, and that's horrible. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. We won't even talk about that, because that would just make me cry. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. That would just make me cry thinking about that. Oh gosh, I could not even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. So, speaking of people not making it, though, this did happen to me where people were canceling like on the morning of and the night before my wedding. Etiquette, you guys, etiquette. We're gonna have to do a video about wedding guests. We're gonna have to do it. I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do a real, like it's gonna be real about wedding guests. And you know, you can't call people, you know, a person on the morning of. I really wish that like some of these people had like, you know, the wedding planner's phone number or the bridesmaid's phone number or something like that. Maybe I'll add that to the duties for like the bridesmaids. That could be something that they could do, is like if people can't come and they're not telling you until the morning of or or the evening, the night before, they can contact them. Like, don't contact me. Like, I can't handle it. I don't need to know as the bride. Like, I have enough going on. And then now you're going to tell me that you can't make it to the wedding. Oh my gosh, it's just too much. It's too much. So, but yeah, we're gonna have to do a wedding guest video, like where we talk about like wedding guest etiquette, because we might be there. We might be doing like 10 parts to that, you guys, because we need to talk about it, and there needs to be better etiquette when it comes to the wedding guest. So, yeah. We did have wedding crashers at our wedding. I know, and I'm smiling about it because we love them so much, but they weren't invited. We do really love them, but like we had a set number. Because people had canceled, it ended up working out because it's an entire family. Oh goodness, they only brought 3 of the 5, but it is a family. And I was like, what are they doing here? The saddest thing is that they were children. The mom was there, but we didn't have a lot of kids at our wedding, and we had already told other people that their kids were not invited, but yet they were still there, and they bring their kids, and now they're there, and now they can actually see that like there's kids here, and it's just awkward at that point. And so for this one, I don't think there's really much that you could do, but they were officially wedding crashers. I mean, on paper, they were not invited to our wedding. They found out where it was and where to go. And I'm like, what? And so I don't know. Sometimes I feel like having paper invites is better than putting everything online, versus that. What do you guys think? Maybe should we do a poll on that? Should you have paper invitations or should you have everything online? And if you have stuff online and people know the address, they can just show up. And that is not what you want. And they know that like you're not, like, what are you gonna say? Oh yeah, you can't be here. Like, I don't think so. Like, most people are not gonna be able to say like, hey, you must leave. We did not do that. We were not gonna do that. But it was really awkward with us for people that we had told, like, hey, you can't bring like your children. There's people who have like 3 to 5 kids. Like, we're paying like $200 for each kid to eat or whatever it is, or $100, $200. It's a lot of money. And so, we just felt like we just weren't gonna have a lot of kids. Like, we did have some kids there, but they were like immediate family, like immediate. And so, it just got super awkward with that whole situation. All right, speaking of awkwardness, this one's also really tough. This is like, it's such a shocker. So, it's kind of like a 2-part, and it has to do with church. So when you attend a church, a lot of times you feel like, hey, we go here, we've been long time, visitors or long time members, you may even do ministry, like you're a part of ministry, like you teach or something, or you're a part of like the media team or whatever it is, you do ministry. And you feel like, okay, I belong here. And then you have your wedding day. And that's when you find out the realism of everyone, I feel like, including the church. You have to have a real conversation with, can we use the venue for the ceremony and the reception or for one or the other? And that's when it starts getting awkward and strange, because then they've got a long sheet of cost, how much they want to charge you, even though you've been dedicated, you never miss, and you're even a part of ministry. And I'm like, that was just like a big, like, did that really happen? Also, the pastor said, well, nobody told me the date of the wedding, and me and my wife are gonna be on vacation that week, and so we won't be able to officiate your wedding. Well, the comment was weird because we did not ask the pastor to officiate our wedding. We asked a different pastor who also belongs to that church to officiate the wedding. They were not the senior pastor, they were a different pastor who mentors us. We felt really close to, and so we've gotten to know very well. They are like, they're like our parents, and we were just like, no, this is, you know, but the pastor felt like very like hurt and like, how dare you, and it's just like, it's just super awkward because you didn't see that coming, you never thought that this could happen, and now this is what's, you know, and you still attend there later. It's just awkward. Things are just awkward. Things are just weird. The pastor also did some weird stuff that I don't want to talk about in this video. You guys may have to stay tuned for that one. It's going to be separate because I just couldn't believe that that happened, and I'm still creeped out about it to this day. But yeah, something else really strange happened with that. But then we had another pastor that is a part of the ministry that we are in, and this is not our mentor pastor, this is a different pastor that we're in a ministry in. And this pastor is also a DJ. So we had asked if they could DJ at our wedding, and they were like, yeah, sure. But they wanted to charge us a fee. And I was like, wow, okay, no problem. We were like, you know what, he has to get paid too, it's his job on the weekends, da da da. But one of my maid of honors said, no, that is weird. You guys go to an extremely odd church. Why would you have to pay for this person to be your DJ when like you literally do ministry like right next to them? Like that's just super strange, right? But you know, you deal with it, you figure it out, you move on, and yeah, those are definitely not funny, haha, like that is that my photographer was a total hot mess. She's like a bigger lady, and she was like on the actual like altar during the wedding. And I'm like, why? Like, I just found out this later, but the officiant told us he had asked her to please stand where you're not like on the altar where the bride and groom will be. She was in all black, which is what they wear, but like they have these long tripods, these big, huge tripods everywhere. They've got all these like, what do you call it, the things to reflect the light. They got all those big, huge things. And it's like, actually, no, she didn't bring it. She didn't bring the reflector, now that I think about it. That's why so many of her pictures were bad, because she had it was just bad, okay? It was so bad. You gotta go back and watch some of those videos. Some of them are in shorts and in portfolio. Yeah, the photographer. So how do we make that better? I did a video over things to talk about with your photographer, like their shooting style and things like that, and then you getting to tell them like, hey, ahead of time, like, please don't stand on the altar. Like, that's not where they're supposed to be. You don't want your wedding guests trying to see you over them, and like, oh my gosh, this is such a big one for me, like the whole photographer thing. And I just like, yes, these things happened and like they're disasters, but man, this is horrible. This is like so bad. Like you just don't do this. Our flower girl, who is my little niece. At the time, she was only 9 years old, or 8 years old. My bad. She was only 8, and she's so cute. She took her job, she took her duties very seriously, you guys, very seriously. She had DIY'd the little basket that we grabbed from Hobby Lobby, and we got to DIY it together. I showed her how to use a glue gun for the first time. She had never used one. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And she put like pearls on it and lace because it's like my aesthetic. I love lace, I love pearls, and it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And she had the red rose petals. Well, I picked up the red rose petals at Dollar Tree because they were only $1. So I bought 2 bags, and it filled up her little tiny basket. Well, you won't believe this, but I thought that person was coming here. I was like, wow, they're going really fast. I thought they were going to come down this little thing over here. Woo, they really freaked me out, but thank goodness they weren't. So, yeah, she had the rose petals in the basket, and you wouldn't believe what happened. You would not believe this, but the day of coordinator at the venue comes up, and she snatches the basket from her, and she's like, you can't use these, you can't use these. And my niece is in the lineup about to walk down the aisle to like put the rose petals out. Now this day of coordinator could have said something way before now. That was not cool. I did not like that. And we're going to talk more about the day of coordinator and the wedding planner in another video as well. I know I'm always like, oh, we're going to talk about it later, but there's a lot of things to get to, guys, and we can't talk about it all in one video, or I'm going to lose the review, and I don't want to do that. So this day of coordinator, I couldn't believe it. She just decided, yeah, she can't have those. So she takes the basket back into the room where I am. I'm about to go line up, but I have to wait for them all to go. It was a whole thing. And then she dumps it out right in front of me, and she's like, yeah, she can't use these. And my niece is like behind her, and she's tearing up. And I'm like, okay, like, what are we supposed to do? I didn't know that there couldn't be any silk rose petals. And she said, yeah, because the birds will eat these and they'll explode and obviously die. And I'm like, well, we didn't know that. Nobody said that. It wasn't in the contract. And so she grabbed some real rose petals, put them in the basket. And there weren't that many. It was very few. But my niece at that point was just so in distress. You could see that now she's stressed out, now she's flustered. She went down the aisle, she wasn't smiling. So it really, really upset me a lot. Like, she was so sad. I go back and I look at the video and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Why did this lady do this, you know? You ruined it, you ruined it, you ruined it, you ruined it, you ruined it. Also, she told my maid of honor that she couldn't take the wedding ring from my husband, because we had our wedding rings, we didn't want each other to see them. We bought them separately. Like, I bought his, he bought mine, just like the engagement ring. I didn't see it beforehand, and it was a surprise proposal. So she had taken the wedding ring and gave it back to my maid of honor, and my maid of honor put it back into my bride bag. That wasn't the plan. The plan was my maid of honor take it over to the best man so that he had both rings, and that when Ryan got ready to give me my ring to put on, the best man would have it, basically. He would have both rings. So it's like you would have a ring bearer and they'd have both rings. He was our ring bearer, but he was our best man, one of our best men. So now we have a problem. This is really huge, you know. It turned out funny, it turned out okay, but it just was really sucky because, you know, now we're on the altar and we don't have the rings. We don't have the rings. And so my maid of honor went back and grabbed the ring, and like Ryan had the ring for me because his best man had it, but I didn't have my ring for him. So we paused, she went and grabbed it. Thankfully the room was not very far. She just went and grabbed it and came back out with the ring, but I was like, who does these sorts of things? You know what I mean? Yeah. But so how can we fix that one? How can we fix that one? Day of coordinators, don't be rude. That's how we fix that one. That's how we fix it. Don't be mean to a flower girl, and don't tell maid of honors that they can't give the best man the ring. What is wrong with you? Like, seriously. Do your job, do a better job, and stop being rude. That's all I can say. Like, we have to be very stern about this one. I can't be nice, I can't be smiling, because this was happened on our wedding day, and this is my groom, my husband-to-be. He had a huge coffee stain on his white tuxedo pant. Whoa, I know, it's huge, it's huge. One of the guests, the wedding guest that he had invited, an old friend of a friend, like family friend member, like of his mom or whatever, older guy. He had coffee, and he was so excited to see Ryan when we came out from taking like the photos and stuff, and now we're about to go to the reception. Why are people even outside anyway? Go inside for the appetizer hour and stay inside. Like, come on, wedding guests, have better etiquette. So he is like out there, and he goes up to Ryan as we're about to like go in for the grand entrance, and they're giving us instructions. He gives him a big hug, and he spills the coffee all down the back of his pants, the back of his pants leg. I was so sad. And it also got his jacket. So literally as he hugged him, the coffee spilled like all the way down. So Ryan had taken off his jacket so that I didn't know, and I had no idea. So now we're doing our grand entrance, and we're at the reception. I'm like, oh, maybe he was just hot. You know, it's fine. It's no big deal. But I was super sad to find out, like, on the airplane to our honeymoon, that he had coffee spilled all over him at right before the wedding grand entrance at the reception. So, guys, these are just some of the bloopers that happen. These are some of the things. I tried to give, like, you know, some solutions of how things could have not have happened that way, or how they could have, like, been better, you know, dealt with, I guess, like the whole phone call thing the night before, canceling. But some things can't be fixed, some things you can't change, you know, you just do the best that you can, you stay upbeat, and just know that your day is all about you, and that you guys get to say, I do. Hey guys, I'm gonna see you in the next one, okay? Bye!